Welcome to another edition of the Metal Hammer of Doom podcast. I am your host, the mandated reporter, and frankly, I'm mortified. And carrying me on his back tonight is the author of the original Metal Hammer of Doom column, which you can read every weekish on 401mania.com in the Music Zone. Here he is, folks. He's one of the three beards. He's good to his mother, Mr. Robert Cooper. How do you do?
The column actually came out on a new level of lateness. It doesn't come out until tonight because my laptop has been overheating and shutting down. So I've been huddling around the little netbook trying to get this shit done. I was like, hey, Jeremy, it'll be late. He's like, okay. And like Monday, I'm like, at like midnight, I'm like, yeah, it's finally in, but yeah, it's a little late.
So are you going to get a new computer?
What?
Are you going to get a new computer?
No, it probably just needs to be blown out. Like, I've had this laptop for 9 months.
Are you going to get
the fan needs to be blown out.
Are you going to get a new computer?
No. Do I look like I'm made out of money?
Well, I mean, with all the 97 different, I think you may be doing more podcasts than me right now. And with all that podcast money coming in, are you going to get a new computer?
No, I do. Let's see. I do usually 3 podcasts a week, and I get paid for none of them.
Oh, you're just giving away all that talent?
Pretty much. Like everything I write and everything I do podcasting wise, I guess is just an investment until I make it big.
You know what they say, Robert Cooper. You know what they say. What? Why should you buy the cow if cow's giving away the milk for free?
Well, if I don't give away the milk for free, then nobody's going to take my milk. This is why shitty restaurants give away things for free, because or else nobody would buy it.
Aw, you got to be like
Kid.
You got to be like Kid Rock, Robert. You got to be like Kid Rock and talk yourself up. You got to tell people when you're just some like nobody breakdancer that you're going platinum.
It's true. Hey, I have actually. In my column, I'm plugging down in Winston, or actually up in Winston for me. They're doing a simulcast of the new Dream Theater DVD, pretty much like it's a live show of it. And I'm like, I've been plugging, and everybody I meet, like that's like, yeah, I'm really interested. I'm like, hey, I got a metal column. They're like, really? That's really neat. I'm like, yeah, you should read it.
When my first wife, who I don't talk about very much because she's horrible, but my first wife actually had like business cards printed up for me. It said Mark Radulich, political shrink, and she was like, "You should just pass these out to people and tell them about your blog and about this." This is before I was podcasting. This may have been when I first started podcasting. When I was doing the blog's name was Progressive Conservatism, and then I started my very very first podcast on Blog Talk Radio, 6 years ago now. Yeah, that's how long I've been doing this crap. Was PC Live. It was called PC Live, Progressive Conservatism Live, and it started out as a serious political news show and became the Daily Show with no visuals by the end of it.
Well, that's what it should be. That is what you should be doing.
Yeah, between myself and from the consultant class, the rated R Republican John Brodigan. We can't get together on any project without it going into the ditch, chicken noises and all. That was a real bit. That was an actual bit. I was very much obsessed with chicken noises. Well, no, I was very much obsessed with chicken news. I discovered Hey, let me quick tell you this. Sit down and because it's story time with Uncle Mark. there was a website. It was like it was something about poultry news, and I became very obsessed with this website. So I dedicated an entire segment to it each week, and I would always find these like exciting chicken stories. And I remember there was one story which was really the zenith of the entire bit. I had done a review of the book Sweet Deception, which was about Splenda and NutraSweet and all these artificial sweeteners, about how like they cure cancer. How they cause cancer rather.
Oh, okay. Other way.
They cause cancer. So the whole book was about how these artificial sweeteners cause cancer, and I reviewed the book, and then the bit about the Mullback report was about these eggs that cure cancer. So they were cancer curing eggs on the same show as cancer causing Splenda, and one of my friends suggested, what happens if you make a cake out of both?
You're just going to get diabetes.
No, see, the they were special eggs that they were special.
I get it.
See, so you
see, joke.
You know what's funny here is that if you combine them together, you have a cake that cancels itself out. See, and this was funny.
And then you're going to get diabetes because you just ate a cake and you're going to get fat and die.
Back in my day, we used to gather around the radio and listen to Henny Youngman.
Did you call your section about chickens the cock block?
No, but that's what I feel like you just did to me in that last story.
Oh, I didn't mean to cock block you. I just deadpanned the shit out of your anti-joke.
You really you no-sold that like the Undertaker, and my feelings are hurt. I got to tell you.
Well, no, I thought that was the point of the joke, was for me to no-sell it because it was an anti-joke, wasn't it?
The next time we do a show, I'm gonna upload a clip from that very show, and you can hear it, and you can hear me laugh into the microphone for 20 minutes straight.
I mean, I'd like that. I mean, it's funny. I get it. I just had to no-sell it because Jeffrey Harris can't be here tonight.
I don't want to talk about Mr. Harris because we here at the 411mania.com are a united front of writers that don't run each other down every possible chance we get in other formats.
Yeah. No, don't worry. As we were discussing before, I was like, you could do it on your own. I'm like, I don't know who I would get to do a podcast with me. Like, I know we have metalheads. Like, I know Jeff is kind of a metalhead. I know Sammer's one. I think Robert does a little, and Pat might do some. But I'm like, I don't know if I can find something. Because I wouldn't do the new Carcass.
Wouldn't do the Carcass. Well,
the new Carcass album.
Well, we can discuss this at the end of the podcast,
yes,
but this is the beginning of the podcast. So
yes.
let's get into tonight's album review. Members of Sabaton left the band and went on to form their own band called Civil War, and their album that they've put out is called The Killer's Angel. That's what we're going to talk about tonight. I have a review here from MetalUnderground.com. They gave it a review of Good, which was 3.5 skulls. I'm going to read you a little of this and get your reaction. When most of the members of Sabaton abruptly departed the band in 2012, it seemed like a blow had been dealt to power metal until all those members came together to create their own take on the style. After recruiting Nils Patrik Johansson to provide vocals and Stefan Pizza Eriksson to pluck the bass strings, the project became known as Civil War, which is perhaps a reference to the lyrical subject matter, but it also seems just as likely a statement on the schism that led to the group's formation in the first place. So what do you know about this Civil War business, sir?
Actually, I didn't know that much about it until last year when they released a free download of the song. I'm like, oh, cool, because I didn't really know much about Sabaton. I didn't know about Sabaton until the end of last year when I did my top 50, and that was Careless Rex, the newest one by them, was literally the last album I listened to for 2012, and it was really, I loved it. But I was kind of surprised that all the guys left and just made their own band. I mean, I heard maybe it was problems with, I heard rumors that it was the singer, I forget his name, I think it's Joachim Broden or something like that. I don't speak Scandinavian very well. But he wanted to tour his ass off, and they had families and did not want to tour their asses off. So they're like, fuck it, I'm out of here. Because, you'd figure it'd be kind of like you know, like what the new Queens are like, is like the majority of the band want to do their thing, so they get to keep the name. But I don't know. But yeah, this album here, I'd give it more than 3.5. I mean, we'll get to that by the end. I think that's, I don't know. I can see giving it a 3.5, but it's not like they gave it like a 2, like, you know, we gave Super Collider or Phil Anselmo.
Super Collider and Phil Anselmo. Okay.
God, Phil Anselmo was so bad, you actually messed up the plug on one of the podcasts. You're like, yeah, we did Avon and Mars. I'm like, Phil. Maybe that was old, but I was like, I thought we did Phil.
Who knows? I have to.
By the
whenever
way,
I have to start plugging stuff, whenever I have to start plugging stuff, I rattle off things that I can remember, because not like I prepare.
This is true. Like when it gets to my plug section, I almost always forget the 3 beards because I saved that for last.
What were you about to say?
But yeah, I was just about to say the Casual Heroes. It's a good podcast. Any listeners that want to jump on more things on the Radulich and Broadcasting Network, jump on the WrestleCast. It's pretty awesome. They just got Mantar.
Tonight we'll be doing another WrestleCast, which will be up on the Radulich and Broadcasting Network in the next couple of days. But for right now, let's get back to the music. So this is the now. Let me before I get into this. I am a fan of the power metal, or as my friend once called it, the D&D core.
D&D core. It's kind of true.
Music for fighting dragons. That's what I listen to. So I have to say I'm not tremendously familiar with this album. I did listen to it, because I was doing a podcast on it and all. But I have to say I was entertained by it. But this is going to be really my second listen to the album, so I'm going to be in the dubious role of responding to the tracks as I listen to them tonight, as opposed to really having digested it beforehand and coming in prepared with a dissertation to talk about it. So it's just gonna be a real reactionary kind of podcast tonight, and we'll see what happens with that. See what mischief we can make. Here is the first track. This is called People of the Sun. Yo, this is for the people of the sun, y'all. No, that's Rage Against the Machine. That is not what we're doing here tonight. This is King of the Sun. That was power metal-y. I remember back when I was in high school, and I believe it was King Diamond. I may have told the story before, but I had a friend of mine who was, he's still a buddy of mine. We communicate on Facebook occasionally. He was a big fan of King Diamond, and I guess around the time one song came out, and every time we'd see him, we would ask him, "Hey, Aaron, how's it going with your family? Have you talked to your grandma at all?" And we would do this to him and harass him all the time. Grandma! So it's kind of like that.
I remember in a music appreciation class I had in community college, it was our teacher was talking about falsettos, and then I bring up a merciful fate song, The O's, and there's this one section he just goes high and low on the falsettos. He goes, "Is that a girl?" I'm like, "No, it's this guy." There was a picture of somebody photoshopped King Diamond into the Last Supper. So I'm like, "Who's this guy?" He's like, "Oh my." I'm like, "Yeah." But yeah, the singer for this band, at first I was just kind of and then I've literally listened to this album like 10 times because I was supposed to review it when it came out, but I'm really lazy, so I've not reviewed it. Yeah, I've got a lot of albums I need to review, and I have a lot of schoolwork. But
you should not
like
be a teacher anymore. You should drop. You need to talk to my wife, who has been railing against No Child Left Behind and how basically that law has, and a lot of other things, have ruined the public school system to the point where she wants to do something else. So you should instead become a clinical psychologist.
I'll move. I would say I'll move down there, but that spot's already taken.
Become a clinical psychologist. There's lots of jobs in psychology. You have to get a PhD or a PsyD. I would recommend a PsyD. Then you can work for pharmaceutical companies and and you can work from home and you can do drug trial testing and get paid lots of money to not have to put on pants.
Ooh, that is good. Yeah, as you know, I am aiming for the educational field, and this college alone is making me really hate school. When I am a very unorganized person, and when I'm unorganized and the school is unorganized, it is a big problem. But anyways, the singer for this band, doesn't he kind of remind you of a mix of Ronnie James Dio mixed with the vocal stylings of one Udo Dirkschneider?
Yeah, it kind of sounds like a less angry 3 Inches of Blood.
So your wife can listen to this.
She hates 3 Inches of Blood. No,
I know, but it's less angry, so maybe she'll give it a chance.
The anger isn't the problem; it's the grandma of it all. Yeah, she would much rather listen to Cookie Monster than Grandma. See.
Ooh.
You only got two kinds of metal in this world, folks. You've only got two kinds of metal: Grandma and Cookie Monster. Metal Hammer of Doom tonight.
And when you bring those two together, you get Cookie Monster Grandma, where she bakes the cookies and eats them.
That's terrible. All right, what else can you tell us about King of the Sun before we move on?
It's a really good opening. Like, it's got that gong, and you're like, oh, okay. And then it just, hits into power metal. And this band's kind of, as we'll probably be getting through, I'm sure, the comparisons to Sabaton will be many, because this is 3/5 of Sabaton. Pretty much. It's everybody.
There's a gong at the beginning of another song. It's by Two Live Crew. It's called The Fuck Shop. So, they hit the gong, and the guy yells out, "Welcome to the Fuck Shop!" And then he proceeds.
Could you imagine if they switched these songs? My grandma was like, "Welcome to the Fuck Shop." But yeah,
now that's all I want to hear. I want to hear Dragon Force cover an entire Two Live Crew album.
I want to hear Dragon Force cover NWA.
Actually, I want to see Dragon Force cover a whole slew of rap songs. That'd be great.
Oh, 50 Cent. You Find Me in the Club. Oh, yeah, there we go. Or they can do some Lil Wayne, where, everybody in the crowd just wants to hang themselves. Like Floyd Mayweather. He brought out Lil Weezy and Justin Bieber.
I was going to say, did you see that? Correct. That was Lil Wayne, right?
Oh, yeah. I wanted to jump through my computer screen and just kind of trip the both of them.
Did Justin Bieber not know where he was? My wife and I saw that in the movie theater. We're looking at him. The first thing my wife said about Justin Bieber was he looks high. I don't know if he knows where he is.
Oh, I think he's trying to look cool. Somebody online was like, "Hey, do you think he, when he's around a bunch of black people, do you think he just licks his lips a lot? And that's how he thinks he's street?"
No, I'm pretty sure he thought he was being kidnapped.
Well, yeah, his shorts look like he shit himself. That bunch that I don't know. I don't
he
get
totally looks like
trend.
He totally looked like the money team was holding him hostage. And speaking of hostage, this next song is called First to Fight. That one. That's probably of the songs that I recall listening to the first time. I remember that was the one that jumped out at me. First of all, anything with fight in there, I'm going to immediately pay attention to because that's just who I am. But I like the gallop in it. I like the chorus. I like how he sings it out, that part. That's a fun song.
Yeah, it is. It has a great way of just bursting the door open and just balls to the wall. Awesome. Like, yeah, it's got a really nice gallop to it. It's got a really memorable chorus, which a lot of these songs will. Something that Sabaton did really well, which, like I said, Sabaton can be brought up a lot because this is technically Sabaton with new guys. Pretty much. Yeah, like it's like the lyrical content.
Wait, this is the Sabaton black and white team?
This is Sabaton Hollywood.
I was going to say, this is Sabaton Wolfpack.
Oh, yeah, because the original one is Hollywood. Yeah, this is Wolfpack, which fits, because in NWO Revenge, they had 5 members. That was a good game, by the way. Though No Mercy was better. Yeah, because I can put a man through the women's title tournament. That was fun. Oh, I did it, and it has like a bikini contest. It's like grown-ass man in a bikini. I'm like, okay, whatever, in 64, that's cool.
Oh.
But yeah, this is...
Nintendo was promoting transgender and transsexualness. You were saying?
Well, yeah, WWF was doing it at the time, too, with Mark Henry and his friend Sammy.
Well, there you go. So first to fight. Your thoughts, sir?
I brought that up. That was a obscure reference. Go me. But, yeah, first to fight. The song isn't exactly about anything in particular. At least I don't think so. I didn't look too far into it. But a lot of the songs, they cover lots of different historical things, which Sabaton did, but most of theirs was like a lot of World War I and World War II, and their last one was all about Charles XII of Sweden. That was a concept album about him. But this one, they really go kind of everywhere in history with it, and it's really, really kind of entertaining. And I feel they did the best with their new singer, what they could, because he's just blowing the walls down. Like usually on these podcasts, I can kind of sometimes have a problem hearing the vocals because Blog Talk's a little warbly on my side, but oh man, you can hear that guy. Hear him all day.
Yeah, he's very clear. I would tell you that a lot of times, even on Spotify, I feel like the songs are not mixed very well, and the vocals are very low. Not in this case.
No, which I think partially is probably it's probably mastered well, and the guy's loud. But it's good because like as one of the reviews I read for this said, like this album is really held together well by really good keyboarding and lead guitar work, as well as great vocals. Like it's like I said, I really do love this album. We'll get to that in the end. But this song right here was definitely one of the ones that stood out to me the most, especially at the beginning, because a lot of times that's either the first song or it's later in the album when you kind of need a breather, like a refresher. Like you need that second wind, because a lot of times, as we've come to notice on these albums, a lot of times it really drags in the middle. Like usually it's good at the beginning and then it's just kind of that or maybe we're just but it's just and then by the end we're like okay, I can see what they're doing there. It's not usually that they put in they need to put in more kind of buffers and shit. But we're gonna get that because some of the middle songs of this album are the best.
Would you say that they needed to put in more dinosaurs?
Yes. This every album needs more dinosaurs. Okay. Like the new Carcass album I was talking about. They need to do songs about surgery and dinosaurs.
All right. Here's a song that doesn't need any dinosaurs. This is called St. Patrick's Day. Okay, so I remember this when I was listening to it at work, and I'm just doing my thing. I'm updating my spreadsheets and everything, and I heard that opening lick, and I'm like, they covered Shipping Up to Boston, and I totally thought Forrest Griffin was going to run into my office and punch me in the face while wearing a trench coat. None of those things happen in this. This is not a cover of Shipping Up to Boston. This is. Okay. So immediately that reminded me of Avantasia. Not that it sounded like Avantasia, just that I remember thinking, like, back when I would listen to Tobias Sammet, who's from Ed Guy, I was like, if I had money to invest in musicals, I would totally want to actually make like a metal opera. If not Avantasia itself, something along those lines. I actually thought Pete Steele should take Typo Negative and turn it into a Broadway musical. Because Broadway musicals are mostly depressing and make you want to slit your wrist while on the toilet. And that was what Typo Negative was truly about. It was about heartache and breakup and cutting one's wrist while on the toilet. You didn't have to be taking this shit, but it didn't hurt. Now listen, this is what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about Broadway musicals, and I think St. Patrick's Day is one of, aside from the fact that it's a direct ripoff of Shipping Up to Boston, at least at the beginning. When it gets into those quieter parts, it reminds me that this is the kind of music that needs to be performed as a Broadway musical, not just, not just in the sort of nutshell that is a band performing on stage.
Yeah, I did not get the Shipping Out to Boston. Who does Shipping Out to Boston?
That would be the Dropkick Murphys.
Honestly, I don't listen to them very much. Almost dated a girl who liked them once. Oh well. What?
Do I need to go upload the clip really quick while we're talking?
Sure.
Oh, so I was gonna say no, that isn't necessary.
Was it? Well, I was actually about to go into jokes about how Forrest Griffin came and punched you at your workplace. All you got to do is hit him a few times, and then he'll lose the fight, and then he'll run out of the arena, and then he'll be fine. Like they'll be like,
Either that or
Mark, what happened?
Either that or his wife just has to be in danger of going into labor.
Yeah. Oh, well, or it'll be your retirement, and he'll take the mic.
But St. Patrick's Day. Aside from the fact that it's a direct ripoff of Shipping Up to Boston, what do you think?
I love this song. Like, I think what definitely catches me is that ripoff part. I don't know if it's a ripoff to me. To me, I haven't heard the other one. But I loved it. Like, I'd be going down the Martin Luther King Boulevard outside of Winston-Salem State, where I'm the only white person on campus, blasting that out of my little Saturn L200, and I get some weird-ass looks. Oh, so great. Like, what the hell?
Do you agree with my assessment that this is the kind of music that lends itself well to a type of stage musical?
I can definitely, this and, again, Sabaton, because they have, because with their vocalists, you've listened to Sabaton before, right?
Sure.
Okay, well, their vocalist is actually a very low vocalist for power metal. Like, he has a very low-range voice. Like, it's just down in the octaves. And it makes for, almost like a damn general calling out to his troops. It is epic. Like, I'd love to see both of these. Like, this song, and I like some Sabaton songs on Broadway and shit. Yeah, because they're, really epic and catchy and awesome. Like this song. Like, this song's pretty epic and catchy and awesome. At least I find it to be so. Like,
epic,
yeah,
catchy, and awesome.
Apparently it is about the Druids being kicked out of Ireland. Yeah. That's what it's about. Like, that's what the internet told me. I was like, oh, okay. So, like I said, a lot of these songs are about historical things.
Yes, that is what they do.
And this is the first power metal album we've reviewed.
Yes, this is the first power metal album that we've reviewed.
God, it's almost been a year, and it's taken us that long. It's because there's so much good thrash and death metal.
We had a lot of hatred to cover. Now listen,
don't do that to me. There's only so many times that could be time to murder it.
This is track 4. This is Rome is Falling. So that's the first song on here that's got a bit of an edge to it. Good song. It's a very strong song, I thought. Problem with power metal is because of the high vocals and the complex guitar work, some would say, and I don't know if I would agree all the time, but definitely a lot of power metal sounds like it absolutely has no balls to it. And this is one of those songs that really goes against that criticism. That song had pretty heavy balls.
That it did. It had balls of steel. It is like Duke Nukem. Balls of steel. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that soundboard. The Duke Nukem soundboard is awesome. But yes, Duke Nukem is awesome as well. But this song did have balls, and it is another one of those songs that's really catchy. There are a lot of songs on here that are very catchy, which is a good thing in power metal, because power metal does seem to be a little poppier at times than other genres of metal. Like, I'm not saying poppy like metalcore poppy. Like, it just tends to have more hooks in it, and sometimes it tends to be a little more memorable. Maybe the high vocals do lend to that, but there's a lot of times you'll be finding yourself just walking along the road and start singing some power metal, and you're like, well, shit, I don't have the vocal pipes to cover this, but damn it, I'm doing it anyways. It's one of those songs, which is it's kind of a love story. Yeah, gotta love a love story.
And what's the love story about? Is it about a prince and a princess?
I mean, I'm not quite sure. My computer shut down again. So
Are you gonna
I can't quite look.
Are you gonna buy a new computer?
No, I'm not. No, I don't have any podcasting money. I actually have to leave the thing off for like 2 hours so it doesn't shut down during Randall's podcast.
This is why I'm going to beat you next week in Fact or Fiction, by the way, because you don't have a new computer.
No, you're not. You're not going to. Actually, yes, you are going to beat me, because I have lost 2 straight matches by 1 vote. Somebody really hates me.
So yeah, we're gonna have a Metal Hammer of Doom face-off on Fact or Fiction next week in the MMA zone, and I am gonna whoop that tushy.
Maybe, but you have to buy me dinner first.
Well, I have a computer that doesn't overheat, so I automatically have an advantage.
Well, you know, you should be happy. This is the first time I'm not going to vote for you just because you're in the fight. Right, I'm not going to be like, oh, Mark's against somebody this week. Yeah, vote for Mark. I'm going to be like, wait, that's me. Shit.
There you go.
I have to be partial and vote for myself.
Fair enough. This is track. Could you imagine you voted for me and then you lost by 1 vote? How hilarious would that be?
That would suck so much ass.
This is track 5. This is Sons of Avalon. Avalon.
I feel like I've heard this song somewhere before. Like the verse and the chorus, like that whole rhythm. I feel like I've heard it somewhere. I just can't place it. Because I've almost listened to 100 albums this year. I can't place it.
It does remind me of another song with actually Avalon in the title. Maybe that's what you're thinking of. Right, Avalon. Dun, 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 dun. Is it that one?
I don't know. It might be, but yeah, this song's fairly solid. It's one of the not as memorable, less memorable maybe. Like, I'm not gonna say it's not memorable because I've listened to this album like 10, 11, 12 times. So yeah, I mean, I remember most of these songs pretty well. But this one's one of them that I do remember, like the chorus, but it's just not as prevalent. I mean, it's still good, but it's just not as prevalent in my mind.
There's an Avalon by Al Jolson. Is it that one?
No, it is not Al Jolson.
Are you sure?
Isn't that the Al Jolson that did the damn blackface movie?
He's done a lot of blackface because at the time it was culturally appropriate.
Okay, yeah, that guy. Okay, I was just making sure I got the right one.
Don't knock Al Jolson, man. Al Jolson also was like king of the talkies.
Oh, the jazz singer. There we go. That's what it was.
Yeah.
I mean, I've not seen anything with Al Jolson. It's just he kind of terrified the hell out of me as a child.
Are you sure it wasn't Al Jolson?
It was not Al Jolson. I don't think I could. I don't think if you played me any Al Jolson, I'd be like, that sounds like him. I don't think I've ever heard Al Jolson, and if I have,
could you imagine if Al Jolson? Could you imagine if Al Jolson sang power metal?
No, because I don't think I've ever heard Al Jolson. But it would be funny because he's in blackface.
You haven't heard Al Jolson?
I really don't recall.
My wife and I danced to an Al Jolson song at our wedding. Not in blackface, though.
You should have. It would have been culturally appropriate for the 30s.
It would not have been culturally appropriate for 2009. So we were getting married in a horse barn, so I don't know. It could have gone either way. But
and it's Florida.
And it's Florida, cracker country.
Because Florida does not count as the rest of the world, as the Casual Heroes has taught me, as they have taught me. But Florida does not count as part of the United States. It is a separate country, an entity among itself.
All right, we got 17 minutes left. You got anything to say on Sons of Avalon?
No, wow, 17 minutes? That's going to be overtime.
Nope, I'm going to blast through this whole thing. We're going to go and fast forward here. This is called...
It's going to be a nightmare.
This is track 6. This is I Will Rule This Podcast. I Will Rule the Universe. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a song about Napoleon.
Yeah, tell me more.
Well, I mean, it is. The lyrics are kind of obvious about it. It's about, his Napoleonic complex and his need to rule the world. It tells the story of him as, as a born in Corsica, talking about his family. And so I do love the line that he never lied, but how he cried, I will rule the universe. And then eventually he gets to Waterloo where he loses and everything, and eventually he dies. But yeah, it's neat because I don't think I've heard many metal songs about Napoleon. No, not at all. But when you said I will rule this podcast, I was like, hey, Jeff.
We aren't going to talk about another 411 writer, as we are all united front, and we are together as one on 411mania.com, and it is improper for us to run each other down in various formats.
Hey, he interviewed Power Ranger actors. So you know what? He's good in my book.
Okay.
I listened to the Ground and Pound this week, and then when he got, I interviewed these people, I'm like, ha-ha!
Yes, he does a lot of interviews for the site. He's an invaluable resource.
He is. He's a very intelligent man. But he will rule the universe and Mark's podcasting network. But anyway,
that's never going to happen. All right, let's move on to.
It's going to be Robert Winfrey.
Well, that's fine. I'm leaving him my empire. All right, so this is track 7.
I call this section.
Okay.
Yes.
This is track 7. This is called Lucifer's Court. Two things occurred to me during that song. One, this guy's vocal range, I feel like if Dave Mustaine and Ozzy Osbourne had a baby, this is what it would sound like. And two, the synthesizer in that made me feel like this was one of the tracks that was cut from the Flash Gordon 80s movie.
Yeah, that wouldn't be so bad. Not that I've seen much of that movie. I've seen bits and pieces because he used to come on Sci-Fi all the time. That was a good channel once.
When this podcast is over, you should go immediately and watch Flash Gordon. He'll save every one of us. He stands for every one of us.
Well, hey, I almost watched it after I saw Ted. So,
if you had a computer, you could watch Flash Gordon. He's there for every one of us. He'll save every one of us.
Well, when my computer decides to cool down, I'll totally do it.
You gonna buy a new computer?
Let me guess. I knew you were going there. Now, the thing is 9 months old. Hell, it's probably still under warranty. I should probably call those bastards at HP. It's their fault.
Well, all right, so what can you tell me about this song?
Okay. Oh, okay. I thought you said let me tell you. I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, what?
No, I don't know anything about
this. Say.
Nope.
You're like me most of the time, because usually I only listen to the album once. And usually, you can do it like 5 times on my 20-hour commute during the week.
Nope, but, I'm just driving. I'm driving the limo. This is all you, pal.
Awesome. Hopefully it'll end up
Tell me about the better song.
Well, I am made of tangents, but the damn song, I actually like the guy's vocal range, but I can totally. I do not want to hear Ozzy and Dave Mustaine having a baby, because that's a lot of that's a lot of alcoholism and snorting ants and lapping up piss and a lot of hating things because it's all Obama's fault. And I'm not getting into politics. It's something I'm sure Dave Mustaine has already said.
Okay. All right.
But yes. Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm pretty sure Dave Mustaine, and Ted Nugent, I'm pretty sure it got hot and heavy at some award show in the woods. But yes, this song, I have no clue what it's about lyrically. It's in terms of catchiness, it's kind of sort of catchy. It is. I do like the intro with the synthesizers. It's different, and the singer's vocals, they're also different because he goes kind of lower this time instead of his usual constant high notes. And when you go low after doing high for so long, it's kind of refreshing. It's like a cool sip of water after drinking lots and lots of crab juice. Yeah.
Is that the beer that the Clamato?
Yeah, after lots of Clamato. But unlike Clamato, crab juice won't make Fletcher throw up.
All right. Well, here's track 8 of 11. We are winding down this podcast. This is Brother Judas. Totally get that this is obviously a reference to the Passion of Christ and the betrayal of Judas and all of that. There's definitely some direct references to the New Testament in there. It's a fun song. I mean, I was goofing on in the beginning, but it's a fun song for what it's supposed to be about.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. Like, I can't help but hear Grandma now. Like, if you would have done that for the next 5 minutes, I probably still would have just been dying laughing.
And if we didn't have 8 minutes left to go, I would have.
Yeah, I mean, you could. I mean, 8 minutes isn't too bad. We can get 3. No, we can't get 3. Who are you kidding? I'm on this podcast. Randall jokes that the only reason he brings me on the co-op multiplayer podcast is because they need 3 hours to fill. Yes, but this song, you're right. Pretty much it is about the betrayal of El Jesus by Judas Macias, the wrestler. I'm going to hell. For that. That was great because I'm imagining James Mitchell was one of the apostles, and that's even better.
Stop. Just stop what you're doing. You, my friend, are now my own worst enemy. So I have a friend of mine who I may have told the story before about how he would listen to Dragon Force while he was at his desk, and he would imagine he was on a horse, and he'd go "Tya" to the fax machine and gallop away. So that's what that reminds me of. It's got a very good gallop in there, and I could totally see people breaking out a mosh pit to that. Not some gay ass circle pit, but an actual mosh pit where men hit each other. It's a good song. I like it. It's got some balls to it.
Yeah. Circle pits are so damn shitty. Ugh. But yeah. Anyways, this song's pretty awesome. I dig it. It's got some catchiness to it. Though I do miss the grandma and grandpa. I miss the whole family reunion that we got at the beginning of the last song. But Yeah, I did dig this song. It had some balls, as you said. It had balls of steel. Balls of steel. Yes. It was enjoyable. It was a nice prelude to, I think, this is the next class. This is the penultimate track, pretty much. Like, it is a very nice setup with a great song that will put us right up to our finale. Get us amped for what's to come. You know, like, you know, nothing gets me amped more than Battle of Gettysburg, you know, knowing that is our finale. Yes.
All right. The Civil War really is heavily mined territory in the world of metal music. I know that Iced Earth did like an entire album, maybe more than that, dedicated to the Civil War. Was it just one?
It was a 3-song suite. It was like a bonus disc, kind of.
Okay.
But it was awesome. It was like a good 35 minutes.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like longer than some punk albums. And other bands have done that too. I have to say, in closing of this podcast, I want to talk about how a lot of power metal bands. We talked about this a podcast or so ago with Sean about how metal bands really are smart people music, and you know, as much as we've had some goofball fun doing the grandma bit, and we've talked about Hate Breed and Time to Murder It and all that. These are the people that also do entire albums translating Hamlet to metal. Shakespeare.
Taking the Silmarillion and making it interesting.
Yeah, I mean, these are the people who take, books of literature, works of literature. These are people who take words with spelling and
take words with friends
and turn them into beautiful music. And so I can appreciate this album just for that alone. I enjoy the music, so that helps. And I would say I would give this album a solid B. Your closing thoughts, sir?
The song is not as epic as that Civil War suite because that is so great. They even had Matt Barlow do some of the voices. The singer that used to be in Iced Earth that came back for Iced Earth and now is no longer in Iced Earth. Yeah, that was a great song, one of my favorites. And there's somebody who has been to Gettysburg twice. That's right. I was there for the 144th and 145th. Yeah, that was pretty impressive. This song almost is equal to the epicness that was Gettysburg. Seeing Pickett's charge with 15,000 people is something to behold, I must say, especially if you're on the battlefield. Something to behold when you're not actually there as a soldier, because that would be a problem. But yeah, it was a pretty awesome song. This album, I adore this album. Like, I listened to it so many times. It's really good. It's got a lot of good chops in the band. There's so much chops. They can play circles around like a lot of other bands, and there's a lot of really good lyrical content in terms of history and, even non-historical stuff they do. It's just really good and really well done. And the vocalist, I don't like him as much as the guy from Sabaton, because that guy, you should go listen to some Sabaton. He will be in your head all day. Songs about the Panzer Elite. It's pretty damn awesome. give this A minus, yeah. Because it's up in that upper echelon of like my albums, like so many good albums, and like because you remember at the beginning of the year, like about middle of the year, I was really worried about this year that it was gonna suck, and now it's just like gotten to that point where I'm afraid there's gonna be so many good albums I don't know what I'm gonna talk about by the end of the year.
Yep. Well, I mean, I'm glad at least that we broke our streak there of albums that I was just peeing all over. So, you know, I wasn't.
No, you didn't shit on Amon Amarth.
No, I liked Amon Amarth. That's true. But I peed all over Black Sabbath. I like Children of Bodom. I was just, I like Children of Bodom. I like Children of Bodom. You're right. I just wasn't into that podcast that particular night. I liked Amon Amarth. I hated the new Phil Anselmo album. I hated Black Sabbath. And let's not talk about Megadeth. So, you know, I think we're batting about 500. All right.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, we're good. And next time, if there is I don't know if there's next time. I don't know what we're covering because I wasn't sure if I'd give it your pick since you're going.
All right. We talked about this before. Now I'm going on hiatus. I need a vacation. I need to. I mean, if you only knew what I was going to do to you, if you only knew what was going on in my world.
You're gonna tear up laminate floors?
Yes, that's been going on. So I've got a wedding in October. I've got Not So Scary Halloween, which might as well be a holiday with my in-laws. I've got to put down new floors. I've got to put down new carpet. I've got a wife and a child and a job, and I've just got things to do, and I am tired. So I am going on hiatus for the month of October. However, Robert Cooper is madly in love with me and can't bear to be apart from me for that long. So he was singing praises and sweet nothings to me before the show started, and he said, "Please don't leave me." So I will do one more show with him on October 1st, but because he's begging me to put off my hiatus for a little while longer, we were going to do a terrible album called Ministry from Beer to Eternity. That's what we're doing in 2 weeks.
Oh God. Yeah, I didn't know it was going to be awful until you were like, that's awful. I'm like, oh, damn it.
I'll give it another listen, but I listened to it at work the other day, and I thought maybe my cell phone was broken. I'm like, this can't possibly be this isn't music. So we're gonna talk about that in 2 weeks. A week from tonight.
A tangent podcast where Mark gets to be sent off in a nice Viking funeral before being revived like a phoenix from the ashes.
That's the plan. In a week from now, we'll be concluding our Rambo podcast. Look back on the long road to ruin. So Rambo's 3 and 4, and then I am going on hiatus. Excuse me. Sorry. I'm going on hiatus, and Robert Winfrey will be stepping into the breach. I plan to be on the next 401 Ground and Pound show. I missed the last 2 weeks for one reason or another, but I plan to be on the next one. September 29th, the 401 Ground and Pound show will actually be at 11 a.m. because at night, as soon as Breaking Bad is over, we are going to have a mass Breaking Bad post-series finale discussion with anybody except certain people who I won't allow on. Anybody else that wants to jump in there and just kind of exhale Breaking Bad.
Bitch.
Yes, bitch. We got a Casual Heroes WrestleCast coming up shortly, which I need to get off of this podcast on so I can get onto that one. And then, of course, check out Everybody Loves a Bad Guy. Sam Riccardi, the voice, was on to talk about Dexter. He also joined me and Larry in discussing the horrible Frankie Edgar, BJ Penn, 145 tough coach business. Some said that was a little. What'd you say?
That was a good podcast. It actually broke the news to me because I had no clue what was happening. So I was like, what? This is awful.
Yeah, some thought it was a little negative, and I would tell those people to go shit in their hat. So.
I wonder who could be complaining about negativity.
I'm just saying those people can go shit in their hat. But it wouldn't be anyone from 411 because we are a united front and we do not talk bad about each other on various mediums. Robert Cooper, your plugs, please.
Let's see. First off, the Hammer of Doom news report every Sunday. That's funny because I could never get that damn thing in on time. It's actually coming out tonight on 411mania.com's Music Zone because I am a bastard with a computer that keeps shutting down, and Walmart did not have the They did not have the compressed air that I needed. They had
buy another
3
one?
fucking sections. No, I'm poor. I'm fairly poor, and I have lots of student loans. But yeah, I got that. Am I in anything? I'm not in anything text-wise this week. Nothing special. I got the Cooperative Multiplayer podcast on Stephen Randall's Spreaker at midnight. So if you want to hear me talk about video games, and I talk about video games, I mean derail the holy shit out of his podcast and get negative points because he added a scoring system, and I lose 10 points for every time I do Bane. Yeah, every time I lose 10 points.
I'd boo that podcast, and anytime you get booed for doing Bane, you should do it longer.
Well, it's because I drive him insane because every time, he's like every damn week, every time you set it up, any opportunity comes, you do it. And I'm like, yeah, it's pretty fun.
And you should be. Don't let him cloud your creative genius, my friend. Don't let him stifle you.
That is true. I probably shouldn't. But that'll be.
I'll never be on this podcast anyway.
Yeah. Randall's good people, though. He puts up with my shit.
You got anything else there, Mr.
But yeah. Oh, the Three Beards. We actually started another page, the 336cast.com, which is where you'll find that podcast and a few other ones that Kevin has done. That I was a part of one of them, but my audio was so bad that he couldn't salvage it. But yeah, the Three Beards this week, we didn't record one last week because Kevin was doing backpacking for one of his classes, so we had 2 podcasts. One where we talk about The World's End. It's a really fucking good movie. And then, I can never remember the name. And then the other one where we talked about other stuff. Yeah, and as for this podcast, I don't know. I'm pretty sure once me and Martin do our podcast, I think I might be kidnapping this podcast for the month. And maybe find some metal people. So if any 411 metalheads listening, even Jeff, because I know Jeff likes metal. And Sammer likes metal. I'm pretty sure Pat likes some folk shit, and Robert likes, anybody. Hell, even if you're a normal person, just get a hold of me on Facebook. I'm Coop VJ Emperor on Facebook, or Metal Coop on Facebook, on Twitter, and themetalcoop@gmail.com on email. Get a hold of me, because if I don't get anybody, I can pull Robert Winfrey. I can talk for an hour about metal. Just watch me. Then I'm thinking of doing the New Carcass, because the New Carcass album sounds amazing, and I love death metal, and it's going to be so great. But yeah, those are my plugs, definitely.
All right.
So now,
thank you.
Now you can go play with your friends.
Don't be jealous. Don't be a hater.
Hey, I'm not being a hater. You know what I'm doing in 2 hours? I'm going to go play with my friends. And you have to get up for my 11 o'clock class, even though I stayed up till 4.
Okay. All right. So thank you for joining us on the Metal Hammer of Doom podcast. We will be back in 2 weeks with a terrible album from Beer to Eternity by Ministry. Until then, be well, be safe, and behave.